Okay, good morning. Today, May 30th, and this morning we will recap the European elections, and actually in the context of populism. Last week and the week before that, we have been discussing populism, how to recognize a populist candidate, and maybe just a quick refresher speak of populism. I think this is a good phrase to explain populism. Basically, populism claims to speak in the name of the oppressed people. So they refer to the people and they want to emancipate them and make them aware of their oppression. I think a very good example, I don't know whether you saw the entire video, but a very good example of a populist is Marine Le Pen, who does literally that in her victory speech in France, when it turns out that she has become the largest party in the European election in France. She in her speech it says this is a victory of the people, and then she praises the people for siding with her. So this is typical speech of a populist. She doesn't want to change their values, their way of life. Actually, she wants to protect it. She wants to bring it back. And this is also what she has in common with Farage. Wants to bring back the British identity. I want to hold on to the British identity, and this is different, of course, from socialists who want to uplift the working class and bring them up. But populist is basically talking to common sense. This is something that. A feeling. Populism comes from the belly. It's not really based on hard logic. It's based on feelings, on nationalism, on what have you. And populists sometimes have a little bit of a hard time to deal with reality. I before claimed that Trump also may be classified as a populist. Yesterday I was listening to a podcast about climate report that appeared in the United States. And in that climate report, this is a very influential climate report. It's been constructed across all the secretaries in the United States, and they from all kinds of fields. Experts get together, combine data, and they draw up this very influential climate report. It's of very high scientific standards, and it's globally used to see, okay, where are we at? But this year, it's inconveniently showed that actually climate change is happening, and also showed that pollution is of large influence, and that if we keep on going like this, then the costs of our actions will be very high, especially from 2050 onward. The cost in the United States will be extremely high. It could be as high as a reduction of the GDP in the US by 10%. Now, this conclusion they didn't like, so they didn't publish any data, or they
Really?
Decided not to publish any data anymore.
Really? Oh, you said this year?
Yeah. So it was published on, when was it? There was directly after a public holiday, in the middle of the night, they published this report, but the reporters picked up on it and started to publish about it. So they tried to downplay the importance, because the conclusions in it were very, they had a very high impact. I mean, basically, what that report says that your GDP will be diminished by 10%. But what is the logic today to start.
You mean diminish 10% means the next 100 years or something?
So in the next 80 years.
80 years. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When this report published?
I believe it's actually the report itself is not that new. It was after an American holiday, maybe. You know when Black Friday is? I believe that's in beginning of December, or is it earlier?
You mean last year?
Because I think it was published the day just 2-3 hours before Black Friday sale would go up.
Okay, so what do you want to say?
So what I want to say is that populism and truth are not really go well together. It's a gut feeling. It's not based on science or logic. It's based on emotions.
Mm-hmm.
That's what drives populism. So I claimed before that Trump is a populist, and I believe that this is an illustration of that.
So you're talking about Trump is populist?
Yes.
So what his reaction for this climate report?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it one bit.
No, what do you mean? Why you don't believe it?
That's what he said. That's his response. That's his response.
What's his message?
His message is, I don't believe it.
Oh, you mean the climate report is lying something?
Yeah, so it's I don't believe it. That's just it. That's the entire comment that he made. I don't believe it.
Oh, okay. I understand.
But this is a report that's drafted up across all his department. This is something that.
I understand. I was a member of some climate change, organization for more than 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, for not now, but I study a lot about those areas. Something is very realistic. Something is, too much exaggerated.
Well, I mean, I do. I also do understand it.
Yeah, I understand.
That, right, because so you have the worst possible outcome and the most positive outcome, and I mean, but if we stop reporting on that, I mean, how well can we the regular people who do not have access to this information, who don't know what's been hidden under the cup, how can we make an assessment of what's happening and make a well-informed choice? I think it's a very dangerous development. That's basically we say, well, we don't like the outcome of the report, so let's not publish it.
Oh yeah,
I mean, we should have a discussion about the method.
He made the pressure for. He made the pressure for the organization who made this report.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Right. Well, I don't know whether he actively did this, but based on this report, they decided that they would no longer publish the worst case scenarios and the high and the best case scenarios, and they would not publish any data beyond 2040 because it was not uncertain. But actually, the real negative effects start to really kick in after 2050. So this is of course, this is I believe somebody once said, like, there are liars, there are damn liars, and then there are statisticians. And statisticians, they are the worst liars, but they lie with numbers, so they lie in commission. So not showing data beyond 2040, that's a form of a lie. It's what happened. It's what happened with in Japan when they decided to look at the suitability of location for a nuclear power plant, and they found that a very big earthquake had taken place, and they just started to measure just after that earthquake, and they said, well, it's not that dangerous.
Yeah, this is a major mainframe media speaking out, like kind of those issues try to control Japanese people's opinion, right?
Right.
This is very popular, like doing that. This is yesterday I had a school and we did Huawei. Okay, so BBC, they try to control how to make negative opinion against the Huawei.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is, but British government supports. You supposed to use Huawei, but limited. But BBC try to prepare their news much more negative way. So he is going to picking conservative MP and some former security ministers to give them their opinion and try to lead more negative way. Try to bring in the British people toward this way. But this is just intentionally they try to control the people, image for Huawei.
Right.
But you say, but this is, I think, many cases, especially America, multimedia try doing that kind of sort of thing. But this is why do you relate into these populism?
Oh, because I believe it's basically to underline that populism is not really based on using your head, but it's appealing to emotions.
Oh, you mean the emotional,
right?
Movement or
it's
something?
Very much based on we are being suppressed, the people are not being heard. Finally, somebody is standing up because the elite has been ignoring us or mistreating us for too long, and finally somebody who's standing up for the regular people and was going to do something about it. That is, and usually their support is not based on any rational consideration, but more dissatisfaction of the powers that have led the country or Europe or whatever, and basically, okay, well, let's basically see how the other guy is doing, and let the influential politicians know that we know they no longer represent us.
Why climate report is relating to Trump populism? Huh? Yes.
Why? Because basically, this is by ignoring the data, by ignoring the facts, by ignoring what's on the table, by not even discussing it, and just playing into the feeling that we need to create jobs, we need to make America great again. That's not how a regular politician would deal with a situation like that. It would be put up for debate. It would maybe there would be questions about the way that it has been performed and how, but on its merits and on its demerits, but not just ignore it. That is a populist move that is not should not be part of the political mainstream.
Emotional leadership.
Emotional leadership.
By the way, why Le Pen, the daughter of the Le Pen, won at European Parliament?
So that's actually that is a matter of concern, I believe. In France, there is a right-wing majority, and in England, but I think in England the matter is a little bit different. In England, we have the Brexit Party.
Yeah, Brexit Party got the majority, right?
Yeah, but that's basically just on a single issue, Brexit. So that's a little bit different. But I mean, in both countries, in England and in in France, the regular parties, I think that's where we need to look at. It's not why did Marine Le Pen won, but why did the center parties in France, in England, lose so much? Basically, what we were looking at 2 weeks ago with the guy who was talking about Parliament. This is, I think, the reaction that led to the Brexit Party to win. Because basically what everybody is feeling, what on earth are these politicians doing? They are not taking a stance. They just let it go. The people have spoken. They just fed up with it. So they take side with people who either are clearly pro-Europe or are clearly against Europe. But the middle parties, they have very little support. In Germany, the Green Party.
Green Party got one.
they got a huge win, and everywhere in Europe, the Green Party has been winning. In the Netherlands, the Socialists made great wins.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I understand the Brexit Party won because in England, in Britain, Tory Party and Labour Party and British people disappointed for two major parties. So that's the reason they moving the opinion toward the Brexit Party. British is understandable, but I don't know Le Pen. Why? How come they won? They against Macron?
Well, I think that everybody, also including the yellow vests,
yellow jacket,
all the people, they basically moved against Macron. So it's more a vote against Macron, and it's also I think these kinds of results tend to be more radical when it comes to European elections.